What's up, guys, and welcome to a Let's Play of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I'm Dave Klein, also known as Dave Control, and before I start, a couple things I want to mention. I'll be trying to talk about lore, I'll be trying to talk about strategies, so sort of a walkthrough, and just have overall fun. That's how I do my Let's Plays for people who haven't done or seen one of them, and I also tend to talk a decent amount. So if you don't like Let's Plays where people talk, this isn't for you. Also, sorry, I just heard a plane outside. I was like, what is that? Or like a weird alarm noise. Also, I'm going to try to be quiet during the cutscenes. I set the language to English just so I don't have to talk at all during the cutscenes. And although I like playing in Japanese myself, but let's go ahead and get started. It's actually my first time hearing the English voiceover too.
In the closing years of the Sengoku era, Japan was consumed by perpetual conflict. The fires of war raged on, spreading deep into the mountains, to the land of Ashina.
Is the war finally over? General Tamura is no more!
Master swordsman Ishin Ashina staged a bloody coup and wrested control of the land.
What's the matter, Stray? Nothing left to lose? Well, would you look at that? Fascinating. Will you join me, starving wolf?
On that day, a young cub was taken from the battlefield. He trained relentlessly and indeed went on to become a master shinobi.
Listen, wolf. You must never forget the shinobi code. As your father, my word is absolute. Your master's is a close second. As of today, he is your master. Defend him with your life. If he is taken, bring him back at any cost. You understand me, don't you, wolf?
Okay, so it shouldn't be a surprise for people who played the game, but something that you should look at right away from that cutscene is your character, who is eventually named Sekiro, his face, and how it looks pretty normal minus the scar that Owl gave you in the beginning there. Another thing is Ishin is actually more important than I realized when I first watched the intro cutscene, just in terms of, I don't think it's spoilery to say that you'll run across him a lot, because he's just an NPC, so just bear him in mind.
Some 20 years after Ishin's coup, the Ashina clan was on the brink of collapse. And the shinobi, known as Wolf, had lost everything. Both the man who took him in and the boy he had sworn to protect.
The timeline's actually a lot shorter than in my head I kind of think about it. For whatever reason, like to me it's like, oh, 50 years. Because a lot of generational talk takes place. But, hey, it's only 20 years. So, I mean, that's pretty typical for feudal Japan and of that era, to my understanding. A lot of those shoguns did not last very long during the Sekigahara era. I believe I'm saying the right name of that. Wait. Sorry, the Battle of Sekigahara, that was just a battle. I'm sorry, I don't know Japanese history as well as I should for this, but just during the era of shoguns, it actually would be pronounced shoguns and all that. So, as I mentioned, to pay attention to your character's face, who I'm going to call Kita, now you have a bit of a gray around your eyes, so it's just something immediately noticeable, which will become apparent as we play as to why that is. Because I don't want to spoil the lore stuff until we get to it for people who don't want that. I know I'm releasing this Let's Play a little bit later than I usually do, but I know sometimes people like to play along. Ornamental letter, a letter thrown into a well. Kuro's wolf, your destiny awaits you at the Moonview Tower. Escape from the well and find the tower behind it, or bathed in moonlight. Even without a blade, you can reach it. Stay silent, stay vigilant. So, your character, at least in the Japanese, is regularly referred to as Okami, which means wolf. Sekiro, I looked it up to see what the kanji of it was. And actually, let me get to that in a second. Something I think is I should point out right away is they give you water at the very beginning. Now, in King's Field, if you step in the water, you die right away. But for this, I was kind of just like looking at the water, trying to see. I didn't notice when the path ended, and I accidentally stepped off when I didn't mean to, which I think is what they're hoping will happen, just to show you that you can swim. If you tap circle, you can also swim faster, so that's nice. Circle is going to be your run button in the game, which you actually can't do yet at this point in the game. But as far as Sekiro is concerned, with the kanji, part of the kanji is wolf, and I think part of it, if I remember correctly, is something about missing a limb or missing something, which, if you've seen the trailers, will be pretty apparent as to why your character becomes referred to as Sekiro. But, I mean, essentially, you're nameless. And what I mean by that is they just don't want to tell you that your name is Kita. That's actually his name. His name is Kita. Alright, so this game...
Of the well. We didn't shackle him, restrain him, nothing. That doesn't worry anybody?
Not at all. Not only is he unarmed, he has completely lost his will to live. Nothing but a coward. Unworthy of our concern.
So this game has a lot of, well, a decent amount of stealth elements. I honestly don't think the game is very comparable to the Souls series. All right, and you can also eavesdrop on conversations, like a lot of stealth games have.
The moonlight shines strongly on the Moonview Tower tonight. The divine heir is probably using the light for his release again.
Probably, but imprisoning a mere child. I feel sorry for the boy.
Agreed. But I'm sure Lord Genichiro has his reasons.
Alright, so that's going to be an important character to take note of, is Lord Genichiro. And, so yeah, with the stealth elements, you get little bushes like this that you can hide behind. And even without these, there's a lot of hiding that you can pretty easily do. Let's eavesdrop on another conversation.
The Moonview Tower door. Check that it's locked, right?
It's certainly locked.
Nobody fixed that hole in the wall. Right. Don't worry about it. The hole faces the edge of a cliff. No one could pass through it.
Don't worry about it. I always find it funny when NPCs just always say exactly the thing that, like, that you would want as an enemy. You know, they always tend to say, when you do this sort of thing, like, they're always just talking about the weaknesses and holes in the walls, literally, and things like that, and how to screw over their plan. Like, of course that's what they'd be talking about. It's just a very gamey thing that I don't mind, but I do find it a little jarring in a way that it actually kind of does break my personal immersion. It's not something that bothers me, but I just think it's worth pointing out. Okay, let's... Oh, hey, hole in the wall. Maybe they should fix that. Especially for a prison.
You did well to come here. It's been too long, Wolf.
I've come to free you, my lord.
Well then. Raise your head. Kusabimaru, your sword. My shinobi. In accordance with the bond of Lord and Retainer, you will pledge your life in my service.
As you command.
Oh, that's an achievement unlocked. Even though I don't have it so you can show it, and I already got it. Kusabimaru, a katana given by Kuro, the divine heir, an heirloom of the Hirata family, a cadet branch descended from Ashina. Once thought lost, it has found its way back into the hands of the wolf. The name Kusabimaru beseeches a shinobi's role is to kill, but even a shinobi must not forget mercy, a mantra the blade itself may manifest. You do want to talk to Kuro again. I wonder if you can just actually just leave without talking to him. Nope.
I do have one more thing to give you.
Okay, the game wants to force you to talk to him.
It is a special gourd of medicinal waters. Use it to heal your wounds.
Healing gourd. A gourd filled with vitality restoring medicine. Resting refills the gourd. Made by an apprentice of the extraordinary Dr. Dogen. That's going to be a name that's going to come up a lot. Though it is strange that the gourd's medicinal waters refill automatically, the seeds within may hold the secret to how it works.
My lord.
Now then, were you gravely injured? Afterward?
After what?
Do you not remember that night?
I do not.
No. We'll talk about it later. Right now, we must escape Ashina Castle.
As you say.
There's a secret passage beneath the moat bridge that will take us out of the castle. Lord Ishin told me about it once. I ask you to find that secret passage. Once you find it, signal me with a reed whistle. You know, like you used to long ago. I will join you as soon as I hear it. Wolf, do you have something for me?
Oh, you can do this in a new game? What? So giving Kuro's charm makes the game a lot more difficult. I'm surprised it's letting me do this. I don't remember it letting me do this just with a new game. Like for New Game Plus, usually that's something that you can do.
No.
I see. I leave this in your hands then, Wolf.
I didn't select a New Game Plus. I'm surprised it's letting me do that. You can cycle through various quick items. Oh, whatever. I don't need to read that. Oh, So right now, by the way, I have it on auto hide all. I just got used to playing that way for making game footage for lore videos and other videos I want to make.
There's a secret passage. Find the secret.
Okay, he's saying the same shit. So yeah, you can go ahead and give it back to him. I don't know if I haven't tested it yet. If later in the game you can, but at this point you can't.
Wolf, do not push yourself too far. You must.
Okay, so again, it forces you to heal. Oh, I didn't equip it. So it's going to force you to heal. Actually, I wonder, in key items, it actually should show Kuro's charm. Yeah, charm received from Kuro, placed on the wolf's person in secret after he lost his life in Hirata Estate and gained the power of resurrection. So it's actually kind of spoilery a little bit if you hadn't played, but the Hirata Estate thing is something that happens really early on. So it's not too much, but maybe that's why they don't give you Kuro's charm when you first play the game normally. The charm has protected the wolf well, tempering his ordeals. The charm has protected the wolf well, tempering his ordeals. Part with it would mean facing a path of hardship beyond that endured thus far. Okay, let's go ahead and heal. Some people actually like remapping where the heal is, because it's sort of in an awkward place, but I got used to it at this point. Does he have anything else to say? Yeah. No. Okay, so something else that he said that's worth noting is that, actually, I wonder if you get more experience for giving Kudos Charm. Maybe it would be worth it for me to give it to him. Ah, well, whatever. Pellet. Medicinal pellets that slowly restore vitality, or vitality. A secret treatment passed down for generations in these lands. Records say it has been used in battles since times long agone and sent to the famed resilience of Ashina warriors, or lent to the famed resilience. A pill case full of these pellets would also serve as a battle charm. So, he also talks about Lord Ishin, showing him where the secret passage was. And Lord Ishin is that guy from the beginning of the game, who we saw basically was the one who allowed Ashina to take over with his coup. So, Ishin is going to be an important figure. Now, the combat of this game, as Deflection just showed right there, is really about aggression, kind of like Bloodborne in a sense, but really a lot of countering. You get iframes with dodging. Shit, can't believe I fucked up. No, I need that health. I need it. You'll see why I need it. I should stop trying to deflect their attacks, I guess, if I won't. But it's so much more fun because I can actually pull it off with them. But yeah, so essentially countering, which is like parrying, is way more important in this game. But unlike the Souls game, it's a lot easier to... It's not as punished if you screw up, I should say. Like, if you screw up a parry, it basically just turns into a block. As opposed to if you screw up a parry in Dark Souls, you're getting hurt for that, you know? So, it's not really a one-to-one comparison. So people hate parrying in Souls. You have to remember that in Souls, parrying was... you were really punished for screwing that up. Which is why I found parrying really rewarding to get. A, because it looks cool, but B, because of that punishment if you screw up, it makes it feel really good when you get it. So, I think that's a pretty important thing to point out. I probably should have read that mid-boss's name, but whatever. And that's also a thing that's new with this game. No, I can't go in there, is that there's mid-bosses. You could recall it a mini-boss, you could call it mid-boss. For some reason, mid-boss seemed to be the name that I've been hearing a lot, that seemed to get picked up. I don't think there's any real specific reason for it, but hey, I'm going to refer to them as mid-bosses. If you guys are offended by that and you can't handle it, I'm sorry. Mini-boss is fine too. I'm just going to call it a mid-boss. Let's try to hear what these dopes have to say. Probably another weakness.
You know that secret passage at the bottom of the moat, under the bridge? We just got orders to guard it.
Security's getting tight. War will be upon us very soon.
So, this is actually something I've been wanting to make fun of. Not that they said anything too important. They just mentioned that the secret passage is this way that we're looking for. But I did want to actually like kind of make fun of the whole eavesdropping thing in my super show of the game. All right, so these ledges, as it mentioned before, you can hang from if it shows that little, you know, grating on the side of it on the corner, or you can walk. I mean, you can walk along at most walls, which for some reason I can't on this wall. I was gonna show it, but can I do it on this wall? Anyways, it makes it pretty obvious for walls that you have to do it for to progress, and by pretty obvious I mean incredibly obvious. I'm gonna check because I don't remember if oh, lizard, no. Oh, through the throat. I love that one. It just looks so badass. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else I was going to mention, but I guess I was just talking about this compared to Souls. Like I said, I honestly don't think they're too comparable. If you liked Souls, you're not necessarily going to like this game. And if you like this game, you're not going to necessarily like Souls. I consider this to be an action stealth game with very light stealth elements. It's not a heavy stealth game, but obviously the stealth elements are there, as you're going to see when I start to really use them a little bit more. Whereas Souls, I don't think of as... Well, to me, is like an action RPG. So you have a stealth action game and an action RPG. And something for Souls vets you'll notice right away is there's no stamina meter, which it's not going to come up anyways because I have my HUD mostly turned off. But let's go ahead and grab a pellet here, and you'll see why I'm using that in a bit. Can you restore like a little bit more health for me, please, pellet? Just like a little bit more. Come on. Give me that health. It didn't give me much at all. I'm gonna use one more because I don't need these pellets, man. The first time I played this game, which the stream you can watch on YouTube, and I streamed it, I was not very good. But like Souls, once you learn the mechanics of the game, it really isn't that difficult. It's all about just like learning and getting used to the mechanics and how the game wants you to play best and progress, which hopefully I'll be able to showcase a little bit better than at my stream where I did not because I wasn't that good. But this is now my third playthrough.
Wolf, you found it. Now let us leave this place.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, screw this place. Screw you, Ashina Reservoir. Ugh.
To think that this is the only way, to run from the fated bloodline, is the only answer. Where shall we go once we're away from the castle? I suppose the first thing we should do is cross the Ashina border. Or perhaps we should hide somewhere. What do you think?
Whatever you desire,
Whatever I desire? That's the wolf I know.
my lord.
Oh, nothing. I was just reminiscing. Onward then.
Huh, just reminiscing about how you're basically a dog, you know.
Let us press onward. Once we leave this passage, we'll be outside the castle walls.
You don't say. You don't say. Okay. Later, Kudo. I'm leaving by myself. I don't even need you anymore. My lord, you're safe at this point. We're good. Oh, look at this beautiful flower field. And a samurai in the distance. Let's say hi to him. I'm sure he'll be friendly.
The divine heir. Last we stood together was your uncle's funeral.
Lord Genichiro. Thank you.
Leave this to me.
Now you see why I was using those pellets.
So the noble shinobi stands in our way.
Damn right. Samurai versus shinobi. Who will win? It's the question of the ages. Oh, no, 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 jump, jump, jump. Oh, wait, that was a stab? I did not read that properly at all. Oh, God, yeah. Shoot. Oh, you can survive a hit. I thought one hit and you were dead, but I guess not. You actually can survive if you use pellets. Oh, oh, that's right. So I keep on trying to do this technique that I don't actually have. Why did I try to hit him? Need to join Genichiro squad. Nope. Oh shoot, why do I keep on doing that? I keep on, it's like a habit that I can't get out of because I'm so used to it. It's a move that you don't have yet. Ah, I did terrible against him. Supposed to jump, didn't. Yeah, so obviously it's scripted that you're supposed to lose, but I don't deserve, man. I did better the last playthrough. My second playthrough that was offline. I blame it on you guys watching.
Is that all the shinobi has to offer? The divine heir will be coming with me.
I've been trying to figure out who that is, but I think it's just a generic henchman. He's more important if you so you can beat Genichiro. If you play New Game Plus, it's actually pretty easy to beat him because you have all your power and health and all that. So, and all your moves, because you unlock moves in this game like Ninja Gaiden or a lot of other action games. and not combos, but just different moves. So basically, if you do beat him, he'll throw the other guy. If you beat Genichiro, the other guy will throw a shuriken at you, which will distract you, and then Genichiro still cuts off your arm. So it's the exact same outcome. You don't get anything special for doing it, like the Souls games typically offer you. A lot of times, if you beat that first boss who you didn't have to beat, I guess that was only Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls that did it, though, huh? Because Dark Souls 2 doesn't have one. But point is, you don't get anything for doing it. You just get a slightly different cutscene and the satisfaction of having done it.
What is this?
So you're awake. Looks like death is not your fate, just yet.
Time to get some story. You guys ready for this? Shinobi prosthetic, the artificial arm of a shinobi passed down by the sculptor. A replica of a human arm fitted with a variety of mechanisms apparently designed with modification in mind. While it bears a number of cuts and is stained thick with blood and oil, it has been impeccably maintained. How cool would it be if this existed in real life? I mean, I know that they've been working on prosthetics, but like one that's this good. All right, and we have the sculptor, so we're gonna talk to him and get a whole bunch of story.
What do you call yourself? Your eyes, the eyes of a wolf who has failed in his duties. Or so it seems to me.
That is not your concern.
Spoken like a true shinobi. I must carve the Buddha. You do what you will.
Okay, how did I get here, though?
Why am I here?
All I did was drag you here. Didn't even know if I was dragging a corpse. Couldn't let you get eaten by a pack of wild dogs.
How long was I asleep?
Some time has passed since I found you.
I see.
However, your master yet lives. He's being held prisoner in Ashina Castle. They will soon make use of his bloodline. Looking at you, I'm sure you appreciate the value it has.
Okay, but what about my left arm?
My left arm. What did you do to me?
That is what I call the shinobi prosthetic. A fitting fang for a one-armed wolf. Useless when it comes to carving Buddha, though. You can have it.
Shinobi prosthetic.
It is no mere replacement for your lost arm. Come to me if you find any shinobi tools.
Shinobi tools. I see. For this device.
You catch on quick. If you bring me shinobi tools, I'll find a way to fit them to the shinobi prosthetic. Then you'll come to appreciate its worth. I've said too much. Go now.
No, you haven't. I want to know about the Divine Heir's blood.
What did you mean when you said they'll make use of his bloodline?
I don't know much about him, except the dragon's heritage. There's a special kind of blood by that name, and that blood runs through your master's veins.
So the Divine Heir.
Someone's after him. Might be that the strange things happening to your body have something to do with that.
Okay.
You're quite the strange one, yet other peculiar visitors have come to this temple. There's one in the clearing to the right of the gate leading off the temple grounds. Two strangers in strange circumstances. You two might get along.
Say what? Okay, so something that you can notice right away is that he only has one arm. And he's pretty dang hairy. Like I'm one to talk. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and check out this Buddha.
You see the kind-faced Buddha there? That isn't one of mine. It was carved by the true sculptor. When a man must confront what is inside of him, it can probably be of help.
Confront what is inside him.
Anger, sadness, or perhaps old memories of times long gone. That kind of thing.
So that'll come in handy later, and you can see all the Buddhas that he's been carving are all the exact same. Something to notice right off the bat that is fairly, not super important, but it might be. I don't know. I don't know all the conditions for some of the things, but it might be an important condition for one of the endings, is that there's a hole right here in the wall. So that's really worth bearing in mind and remembering. You see that his area is just completely covered in these pages, which I believe are prayers, if I'm not mistaken. This is the sculptor's idol, and to the right there, well, let's go and rest of the sculptor's idol, and then we'll talk to the dude to the right. So this is essentially your bonfire, what have you, you know, bonfire, lamppost, whatever. Oh, a new bro. What's up, man?
Never seen you before. Your name? Won't tell me. But you do have the look of a skilled shinobi. A shinobi. Or perhaps... Sir, please heed my humble request. Face me in battle.
Whoa, dude. Whoa. Whoa. That's very sudden of you. I did not say I wanted to battle, but I'll kill you anyways, sir. Alright, we done here. We done. What?
Damn. Still alive.
What line read was that? I guess he's supposed to be bored. I guess that makes sense.
That swordsmanship. It was a thing to behold. Few have managed to kill me in such a thorough manner.
What are you?
Some call it undying. Others, infested. I can't die, so I just am. How about you? What brings you to a rundown temple like this? Seems you have a lot on your mind. Say, why don't you use me for some sword practice? Might come in handy for whatever your mission is. A warm body that can't die might prove useful to you. I volunteer mine. Well?
Sure.
Right then. Let's go. They say swinging one sword is a cure for boredom. In that case...
Okay, so I'll go ahead and just kind of talk as I do these, because you do unlock some stuff for doing the various missions. So, you know, obviously some base mechanics that you learn here. For a lot of enemies, what you'll find is really having this aggression is going to be important, because it's going to whittle down their guard. And then if their guard is completely gone, that will allow you to do an instant kill attack. And for a lot of enemies in the game, that's and especially bosses too, that's really going to be how you actually kill them. It's going to depend on who you're facing, but that's just super important knowledge.
In that case...
Alright, so deflecting, like I said, it's basically just parrying, except for there's a lot of room for error in it. And what you've probably noticed me doing before, especially fighting Genichiro, is this. You can just whittle it a lot like that, and you'll... Like, a lot of times you get a parry just from doing that. And I'm guilty of doing it a lot. Especially, there's enemies where I can't tell exactly when the timing there are, so a lot of times I tend to do 2 taps. And I'm just like, one of the taps will work, but that's again where this is much more forgiving than parrying in the Souls games. I mean, there's no reason not to do that if you're having trouble. And let's learn the step dodge. So, it's also important to note that there's multiple kinds of dodging in this game. I step dodged. I step dodged. Why did that work? This tutorial actually can take a while. It sort of annoys me. Because, like, sometimes you go too far away from him to properly do the step dodge counterattack. Like, hopefully it counts it, because I don't know if it always counts it. Like, see that? You're too damn far. You're too damn far. Sekiro. So yeah, that whole name of Sekiro makes a little more sense once you lose your arm, which was in all the trailers, so I don't feel too bad about saying that. Okay, hopefully this counted, so I don't have to kill him again. Okay, good.
About our training. I think it's about time we tried something.
Okay, so yeah, facing him a couple times will unlock this
Come at me.
with the
actual fight training.
What's wrong?
And
why do you go to such lengths? Half to pass the time, and the other half, well, I want to loosen that furrowed brow of yours. All right. Enough talk. Let's begin.
so yeah, you unlock free combat for doing that, and outside of that, I actually think if you're new to the game, he is really important to face to learn those base mechanics. If you've already played the game, not so much, obviously. And like you can just see right there just how incredibly important just whittling him down actually is. Like I said, there's just a lot of enemies that you could just rail on R1 and you will just defeat the hell out of them. Also, if you hold R1's another attack, that one right there. So that's also worth mentioning. Something that I'm going to try to point out next time I do it, but they can also perfectly deflect your move, and that's when you should stop trying to attack them and just go in defense mode. Alright, so we did the fundamentals.
Have you noticed this temple attracts those with nowhere else to go? I certainly fit that description. And I suppose that's why interesting things make their way into the offering box from time to time. And this temple attracts those. And that's
interesting. I thought he said more there.
Come back whenever you like. If you have techniques to.
I also thought he said something when you beat him in free combat. So you can kill him anytime you like to, and he will just come back to life. It doesn't matter. So the offering box basically will sometimes get items depending on what happens in your game. But outside of him, you can't kill any NPCs. I have tried for the lore, obviously. I'm clearly, obviously for the lore. Whew, I mean, come on. That's clearly what it was. No other reason. But, yeah, you can't this time around. So there's no lore for killing people because you can't do it. So there is that element to the game. That is also different from Souls, just from a lore perspective. The story is also much, much more straightforward than a Souls game. Like, I'm working on a lore video, but honestly, a lot of it's just right there for you, or if you do the side quests. There is a bit from reading item descriptions and putting things together, but not nearly as much as the previous games. So, if you rest at one of these sculptor's idols, that will reset enemies. However, you can sit at one like this to get the sculptor's idol and not rest, and that won't reset enemies. So if you're making good progress, or for whatever reason you don't want enemies to respawn, it's just a good thing to remember. It's actually something I do a good deal, or sometimes just to challenge myself too. So here you can have where stealth's going to start to come into play. If you sneak up on an enemy, bam, stealth kill. And holding square will get you their loot, specifically for enemies that you kill. If you find loot on the ground, you have to tap square to get it. But for enemies you kill, you're supposed to hold square afterwards. You can also do drop death blow attack on enemies like this. It's basically a plunge attack, but an insta-kill always. So, insta-kill, plunge attack, still around. And I think that's most of the basics of the game, outside of the deflection I was talking about, which maybe I'll use him to show. Probably not. Okay, notice how I was starting to tap L there. Wasn't really a big deal. And even there, I was tapping it. L. It was fine. Okay. Let's see if I can. No. I was going to try to do it on him. Okay, did you see that larger spark right before he attacked me again? Like, there was a lighter spark and then the large spark. That large spark indicated that he was going to have, that he was going to start attacking. At that point, he had gotten through my attacks, essentially, and had a way to get back. So one thing that I feel like is going to be a little difficult for this Let's Play is there's so much to explore where you just really have to look around, and I want to make good progress and good time, but I obviously don't want to miss anything either. In fact, I don't remember ever seeing this before. I've never found this before. Akko's Sugar! Yes! The reason I'm not reading is because there's really not any lore to it. So, whatever. Found sugar in a cave. That's where I had all my sugar. You know, sometimes you gotta hide your sugar, man. Everybody wants my sugar. I gotta hide it up. I always find that, you know. Do you ever find that too? You're just sitting at home and you have a roommate and you're like, why are you going through my sugar? Always. So you just have to, like, hide it in the roof, hide it in the ceiling. And yes, this is a joke I'm putting in my super show too. Ceramic shard you can use to distract enemies or try to get only one enemy to come at you, sort of the whole stealth idea. Which I never use, and I probably should, honestly. It's probably my bad that I don't. Oh, look at this sweet stealth area. Now they're never gonna see me. He didn't see me, totally. He has no idea I'm here. Ow, you ass! What the hell was that about? I didn't do anything to you, I just killed your friend. That's it. What an ass. Where's the other guy? Got some Ungo sugars. So the sugars basically boost various elements of your character, whether it be attack, where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, something else that you might have just noticed that I did there, and I know Vadi talked about this in one of his videos, but you can actually cancel out attacks midway through. So notice how right there I was starting to attack, but I canceled it into a guard, unless you're spamming R1, and then you can't. So that's the one thing about spamming R1 to attack. Also, something I didn't utilize I just want to show off is there's a lot of different ways to get through most of these areas. So if you wanted to be more sneaky about this, you could have taken this path to the side and been like, okay, I'm done. Let's go ahead and sneak through the branches now. Sneak through some brambles. Get a fistful of ash. Every time I get it, I just think of a fistful of dollars, or the Dollars trilogy. It just makes me happy. Fistful of ash, best item in the game, for that one single reason. Wolves typically can spot you or hear you pretty easily. They'll spot you before other enemies and typically alert other enemies to you for that reason. So that is good to bear in mind that you kind of want to stay a little bit further back if you notice wolves, so other enemies aren't alerted to your presence, thanks to them being so loud and obnoxious, you damn wolves! Okay, so right here is going to be an example where I'm not going to reset for the Sculptor's Idol because I want to do a little bit more exploring. I just want to grab the Sculptor's Idol since it's there. Alright, Shuriken Wheel, a mechanical device made by the mechanical genius Dogen. So there's that name, Dogen again. He's the one who invented the... his disciple is the one who invented the gourd satchel or gourd seed thing that you're using to heal yourself. Can be fitted into the shinobi prosthetic to become a working prosthetic tool. While it is palm size, a surprising number of shuriken can fit into the shuriken wheel, as the edges were designed for stacking. A fine example of what can be achieved when one matches mechanical finesse with the shinobi's talent. And if you notice, this bird guy right here looks exactly like the bird who we saw before in the cutscene, which is why I think it was just a generic mob enemy who was helping out. I mean, he's not a generic mob enemy. There is a specific name to these guys. I believe they're called the Nightjar Shinobi. And they're under the command of Ishin, mostly. And I'm pretty sure they were trained by Ishin. So, I think it showed his name in the battle, who we were fighting before. That is Genichiro Ashina. Oh, the safety roll. Yeah, so when your posture goes all the way down, which happened because of this damn chicken, turkey, you automatically get stunned into the ground, and you'll have a moment where you have to safety roll to the side that has some iframes. But yeah, so dodging has some iframes, and I think jumping has iframes too. But I think they get a little more iframes if you're doing it for the correct attack that you're supposed to do it to. I think it actually increases the iframes of that to the attack. All right, I'm going to go ahead and rest now, and you'll see why shortly here. So for me playing the game, I think for most people, obviously my first time playing through, this was the first, like, oh, this game is real moment. Because up until this point, the game, I think, is pretty simple. But this is going to be the wake up, you're playing a From Software game moment right here. So this guy has perilous attacks, which you will see in action in a moment. I'm going to try to be a little aggressive to him. Let's get away from the corner, actually. Oh, so there's a perilous attack. So basically, you have to dodge it. You have to time it perfectly to counter, otherwise it's going to hurt you. And there's specific things that you're supposed to do for various perilous attacks. Like they're jumping over that sweep attack. Sweep attacks you have to jump over. I don't... Oh, so right there he's trying to kill his guard, which is that yellow meter at the top. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. No, 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 no. Oh, damn it. I can't believe he got me with that. Oh, that sucks. No, don't. The more you hurt them, the less health they have, the slower their guard heals, which is a really important element to fighting these guys. No, don't get your guard back. Actually, I kind of want to use it. Wait, no, I don't want to use a pellet. I was like, I'm going to use a pellet, and then I realized that he's like that. Let's get away from the corner, because you can drop off to your death. All right, so there we go. Got one kill on him. Oh. All right, let's go over this way. I'm going to use a pellet, actually, because I'm a baby. I don't want to die. I don't want to die to no samurai. Yeah, so if you get this spark attack on them, the really big one, sometimes that's a good time to use, to start attacking him. Yeah, the good thing about him is, for the most part, his attacks are pretty well, like, he doesn't have too much variety yet for the different types of danger attacks he has. But they're going to really up. But still, like I said, my first time fighting him, I really struggled against him. Alright, so for beating him, you get a prayer bead. And this is another mid-boss. And this is something you're going to see throughout the game, is every mid-boss that you beat drops a prayer bead. A loose prayer bead, offering 4 of them at a sculptor's idol, will increase maximum vitality and posture. Currently, the wolf has 1 bead in his possession. So, and I also got a gourd seed. Seed from which healing waters continuously spring forth. Give to Emma to increase maximum uses of the healing gourd. The twisted gourd of medicinal waters was known throughout Ashina since long ago, but it was the extraordinary healer, Dogen, and his pupil, Emma, who discovered the self-replenishing nature of the seed. So, since I got that one item before, let's go ahead and go back, the prosthetic, so I can actually get it equipped. Hey, I just want to go up. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to have to fight doggos. Oh, yeah, another thing with the game that's important to note is that you can fast travel right off the bat. So this game is going to be a little more like Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 with branching paths that don't interconnect, or very rarely do, which is a shame to me, because that's part of why I like Dark Souls 1 so much, and Bloodborne to an extent, because that Bloodborne was more interconnected than this game. But so it goes. There's more things that I wanted to mention that I'm kind of forgetting about now. Well, maybe I'll think of it as we talk to people. Let's talk to Emma first.
You truly returned from the dead. The power of the dragon's blood. I never thought I'd see it with my own eyes.
Who are you?
My name is Emma. I am a doctor serving a certain master.
What master?
Forgive me, but for his safety, I cannot reveal his identity. However,
how dare you not?
My master gave explicit orders to assist you in any way I can.
Oh, explicit you say.
Me. However, I must fulfill my master's orders. The gourd of medicinal water you possess, that was originally a creation of mine. I am a doctor, and I will assist you in that capacity.
So yeah, as we basically found out from what I got with the gourd seed, Emma is Dogen's pupil, who we've been hearing about, and yeah, she's the one who created the healing gourd.
Yes, it was intended for Lord Kuro, but it seems he entrusted it to you. I'm sure you may have noticed, but the medicinal waters in this gourd spring forth on their own. Even after being emptied, you will find it full again after a short rest.
Yes. Is there a way to improve it?
Bring me gourd seeds.
Gourd seeds?
Yes. Medicinal waters flow from gourd seeds. Adding new seeds will increase the volume of these medicinal waters. If you find any, bring them to me.
All right.
Well, I found some. Increase my heals.
A gourd seed?
Yes. Bring it here. Plant the seed into the gourd. Perfect. Now the volume of medicinal waters in your gourd will increase.
You know what I just realized?
Such a strange medicine.
Is it strange? I don't take any offense to that. If it's effective, then that's cause for celebration, whether it's strange or not. That's what my mentor Dogen taught me.
I see.
Please bring me any other gourd seeds you find. I should be able to further increase the volume of the medicinal water.
So I just realized that she's asking you to give her Gourd Seeds, or basically the only way that you can increase your healing capacity is to give her Gourd Seed. And it's basically like in Dark Souls 2 when you have to give the Shrine Hammer is I'm getting my Souls terminology confused. The Emerald Maiden, if you give her Estus Shard Flasks, it's like she's the one who's going to make us your Estus Flask is better. Same concept here, but I find it kind of funny in the sense of she's like, just place the Gourd Seed in the bottle, and that'll do the trick. But you still have to come to her every time when all you have to do is pop a Gourd Seed in. Why can't you figure it out, Sekiro? I mean, Kita, why?
I'd like to make a request.
What is it?
Please show me your face.
What?
Because she can't see it. You're just talking to her.
This white mark, is it a birthmark?
No.
Then that must mean it appears on those who have received the dragon's heritage. Or perhaps it's a symptom.
Are you done?
Yes, that will be all. I'm sorry. That was rather rude of me.
Yeah, it was. You were looking at my face already, and why'd you have to go in again?
So, it's not a birthmark. Then, that must mean it appears on those who have received the dragon's heritage. Or perhaps it's a symptom.
Yeah.
It appears as though your body is no longer confined by the rules of our world. Come and see me if you notice anything alarming.
I will.
I still don't understand. It appears
Okay, so
goodbye.
Basically, they're confused about how you came back and everything, which you haven't really seen yet at this point. I'm trying to think. I think there was something else she said that was important, but whatevs. Let's go ahead and talk to the sculptor.
I found one.
A shinobi tool?
Yes.
I said before that your prosthetic arm was a fang, but by fitting shinobi tools to your arm, you'll be able to change the form of that fang. Thick shields, break them into splinters. Swift foes, bring them down from afar. Fitting more devices means more ways to slay your enemies. If there's someone that needs killing, there's a proper way to kill them. That's all there is to it.
Seems you know this prosthetic very well.
I should calm myself. The more I speak of bloodshed, the more demonic my sculptures will become. Give it ear. I'll fit that tool for you.
Yes, bloodshed. Yes, more bloodshed. Yeah, I feel like he should have been getting a little aggressive or intense with that line read. I'm being the voice and coach now. Be a little more intense, because clearly you're told to calm down, but your voice was super calm. Alright, so he's the one who will equip new prosthetics into your prosthetic, and right there's heavily hinted that he wore the prosthetic before you. He's not wearing an arm, or he doesn't have an arm, and he knows the prosthetic super well. I wonder. Pull the shuriken, load it into the wheel. So this basically just tells you what the loaded shurikens does.
No matter what I do, any Buddha I carve is an incarnation of wrath. Thus is the fate of those who owe a deep karmic debt. You'll understand when you try carving one for yourself one day. So, need something?
Oh, you think that me? You think I'm gonna need to? Psh!
Yes, right. That kind-faced Buddha you see over there?
Yeah.
Don't do anything funny with it.
What, you think I'm just gonna go walk over and pee on it or something? Because maybe I will. What you gonna do about it? I'm standing next to it. I'm standing next to it. I'm not saying I'm gonna pee on it, but maybe I'm gonna pee on it. You don't know me. It's like the Blarney Stone in Ireland. Just gonna pee all over it because tourists kiss it. So yeah, to equip your prosthetic tool, you just go in the equipment menu, and triangle switches them out when you get more. R2 is going to be to use it, and they all use a certain number of spirit emblems, which it tells you right there. Which you have a limit, like you can hold 15 at once, and then that number goes up based on upgrades that you can get. So throughout the game. So yeah, that's everything we can do here so far. For most people, once you die... Ah, shoot, there's something else I wanted to do over there. I'll just do it later. There's a shortcut there that you can't use yet that I wanted to point out in the vicinity, but I'll just show you guys next time I go back. But yeah, for the most part, I'm assuming, because I know this happened to me the first time I played the game, that mid-boss will probably kill you and you'll get more info. But I'm going to see how far I can go without dying, because why the hell not? Why not, right? So, actually, I guess I could kill the wolf and get some EXPs. So you do get EXP in the game, as you can see in the top right, but it's to get different skills. It doesn't level you up in the same way as an RPG normally would, which again is why this is really more of an action game. And yeah, to actually make your character more powerful, you're forced into facing enemies, so you can't, or boss type characters who are way more difficult. So the game doesn't let you get around it. You do to level up. You can't over level up. You can't really grind in this game to compensate for not being skilled at the mechanics of it. So that's one thing that this game does very differently from the Souls series, where you can grind. Again, the games really aren't too comparable to me. They're two very different kinds of games. And just to put it out there, if people are curious, personally, I prefer Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne over this game. But I do very, very much like Sekiro a lot. Actually, the funny thing is I think I like my second playthrough of Sekiro more than my first playthrough. Maybe just because I was better at that point, and I felt like I had the mechanics honed down. Because the game feels totally different when you're actually decent at it. Who would have thought? But, yeah, I do really enjoy the games a lot, or this game a lot. I don't want to give the wrong impression about that at all. I just happen to, I don't know, just for me, the Soulsborne games, just mechanically, I prefer. That's it. Everyone's going to feel differently about that sort of thing, and that's how I feel about it. Some people are going to prefer this game because they are very different games. But yeah, I still think it's a great game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done a Let's Play on it. So it's still a fantastic game to me. It's just a matter of preference. I think part of it's like the world for me, but I don't want to like. I like the game a lot. I don't want to complain. I guess I'm not gonna. I'll talk about it in later episodes, the comparisons for why. But for now, let's just enjoy a sweet stealth action game by one of my favorite companies for a long time. Because as many of you know, Kingsfield is my jammy jam, and I play like super jam. I didn't know you could eavesdrop on these guys.
Do you think it can be won? I fear we may not prevail. What? We'll be just fine. Look, Ishin may be sick, but he's still going strong. Genichiro is a terror with the bow. And of course, we have Gyobu the demon. Ah, Gyobu, of course. Good point. As long as he is with us, no man could ever breach the Ashina Castle gate.
Okay, so a few important things here, as always, with story and lore stuff. Okay, dude, you're not gonna attack me, then I'm gonna take you down. So, as we found out at the very beginning, Ashina right now is very unstable, as it is a time of war. And you're finding out that Lord Ishin, who's the guy from the intro cutscene, is sick. So that's important. Shoot, where the hell is he? Sorry, there should be a dude over here, but I guess he walked out. Wait, no, he's hiding behind that. There he is. Okay. This guy's a little bit tougher to beat, but you can stealth kill him. Because like I was saying, the game is a lot of stealth. And mastering stealth in this game will make the game a whole lot easier. But you shouldn't always stealth, because you can't stealth bosses. So you should really learn the mechanics, and these base enemies are a good way to learn them. So it's not like a get-out-of-jail-free card at all. It's just, if you want to get through these areas a little bit easier, stealth's going to be the way. But again, it's not necessarily always a good thing to do. But if you do stealth, that's what's going to allow you to get eavesdrop things that give you a little bit more of the story, or hints about how to handle certain situations. So, I mean, there certainly are good and valid reasons to stealth, outside of just making the game a little bit easier for yourself. Alright, we're going to talk to this old lady in a little bit. But first, we're going to break into her house and steal all of her money. Maybe you shouldn't hide it all by some pots. Roosters, my biggest enemy. No, not the roosters, no! Okay, that was a close one. Luckily, pulled it off. Alright, what you got, old lady? Who's ringing a bell?
Oh, is that you, Inosuke? My son. Have you seen the young master?
No! I'm not your son! Quiet, lady!
I am not your son.
There you go again, Inosuke.
Ah!
Always tease that I'm getting senile, but a mother knows her own son. Well, anyway, take this bell. It's a charm I made with the young master in mind. Please, offer it to Buddha for his sake.
I'm not your son, lady! But I'll take your bell. Young Lord's Bell Charm. A bell charm received from an old woman who asked that it be offered to Buddha. Bell charms protect their holders through Buddha's divine protection. If one finds themselves the owner of another's bell charm, offering it to Buddha on their behalf is common courtesy. The sculptor at the dilapidated temple can advise on how it should be offered.
Inosuke, my son.
That ain't me!
Have you offered the bell charm to Buddha? Have you tried the rundown temple with that stubborn sculptor in it? I'm sure you'll find Buddha there.
My name's Kita, and I'll show you! Okay, so this is just me wanting to show you guys that you can't kill NPCs in this game. They all have a protective barrier, so... No doing that this time. And he was like, no, no, no! No, 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 you cannot. So, your stealth is usually good enough because you are a shinobi that you can kill guys without even sneaking up on them, like right there. Which is what I want to show you there. But first, let's talk to this guy who, if you notice, he is wearing a cloth over his eyes, so he seemed to be blind or missing his eyes.
Who is it? Is somebody there?
Shh. No, yeah, sure.
Yes.
That voice. No. Could it be? Sir, my name is Inosuke Nogami, a vassal of the Hirata family. Or at least I was. I ask a favor. Might you look in on the old lady in that house? She's my mother, but her mind is failing. She cannot tell one from another.
I met your mother. She gave me a bell.
She did she? You have my thanks. That bell's troubled her for a long, long time. She kept muttering incoherently. Something about offering it to Buddha. Sir, the man from before, right? I wanted to thank you for humoring my mother. That bell's troubled her for a long, long time. She kept muttering incoherently.
Okay, so he basically says the same thing at that point. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll come back to that underbridge. We're going to go and explore some of the outer area right here. And get a gachin sugar. I feel like I missed something up, but whatever. Or it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Alright, so not really anything to do over here. It's better to just jump this way. Safer. If you fall off a cliff, you don't die, by the way, if you just jump off, which... you know, I'll go ahead and show you guys. I think I'm doing fine health-wise. So you can see I lose a bunch of health. However, if an enemy hits you off and knocks you off the ledge, then you die, and it's a death. I'm trying to remember if that depends on your health or not, how much health you have. But regardless, that's an important thing to note. Whoa. Yeah, I started attacking and decided it was a bad idea. Who that? Who thinks he sees me up there? You see nothing. You saw not a thing. Black gunpowder. Let's see if there's any interesting lore with it. Even the most mundane forms of gunpowder has a wide variety of applications. Yeah, nothing really. Nothing really that I can think of that's important. How do you still know I'm here? Yeah, so they actually can track pretty well. It's interesting because their tracking varies from being incredibly stupid to surprisingly smart for how well they can tell where you are. It's like, once they've seen you once, usually until you do something to, like, you go out of a certain range, they just know exactly where you are at all times. And you're like, What? How did you... How even? Just trying to make sure I didn't miss any items. Which I don't think so. There's a couple areas to explore around here. And again, like, so many different paths you can take. So many. So much. Oh my god, it's too much. We're going to drop down here because there's an item behind. Again, just explore all the nooks and crannies and you will find much. Now, instead of going up there, we're going to do a different alternate path around. Which, again, just to show there's a ton. So if you notice over there, there's a bunch to the side. So I could just walk off the ledge right now. But since I want to see everything, you'll find another alternate route around where you could even avoid this path entirely. I think it's good to kill enemies so you get the experience and the gold. But you don't have to. Again, just really just that point that you don't have to. So let's go ahead and go down here. Sometimes the spirit emblem, which I just got, you'll see those, which will help guide you to paths you might otherwise have not noticed. And what you see right there is some giant snake skin. So that's what's hanging off of the tree, if you couldn't tell. Interesting that snake got all the way over here. And that is one big-ass snake. One big old snake. So this ledge is another one that you can hang on, but we don't really need to. So just wanted to show that. I don't know why they chose to do that as a hang ledge, but, you know, why not? Maybe like so you can make sure you make the jump. And yeah, again, a lot of these spots really, I think, should be pretty obvious. I think, so when I was first playing this game, I thought it was way harder than Dark Souls and the Souls games, but on replaying it, I don't know if, it's just, I think some people will find it harder and some will find it easier, because now that I have the mechanics of the game down, I'm really not struggling too much with it for the most part. But again, that's going to be a person-by-person basis. I would, you know, so I'm going to do a couple things before I end this Let's Play. Oh, dang, I actually thought there was going to be something over there. Oh, well. We're going to go look at that over there and talk to this guy behind me, because this is actually kind of important, talking to him. And see that memory, and then I think that'll wrap up the first episode.
I know you. Yeah. You're that good Sir Shinobi, sir. Huh? Well, I haven't seen you since, well, since that night.
What night? What are you talking about? That night?
What night?
You don't remember?
No.
No.
I see. You don't remember. Listen, sir. You and I, we've met before. I was a thief back then. But those days are behind me. Now, I'm an upright and honest merchant. Only problem is, I'm broke. And being broke, I don't have anything to sell. So, good sir, would you mind lending me just a few coins to get my business going? I'll stock something useful just for you. Oh, you bet I will. And as a little bonus, I'll tell you all about that night. What do you think? Pretty good deal, right?
Yeah, so this actually is a good idea to do. And up until this point, you don't have any reason. You don't know what to do with your money, so might as well.
Here's some coin.
Thanks, good sir.
Now talk.
Yes, of course. That night. So my gang broke into the Hirata estate. Now, as you're aware, the Hirata family is part of the Ashina. Now, normally they'd mop the floor with petty thieves like us. I mean, no sweat. But it just so happens we broke in during a battle. Yeah. Almost all the young samurai were away from home, and it was a prime opportunity. Then, we started a fire and cleaned out the place. That there's when I met you. You were looking for something. At least, that's what it looked like to me. Well, that's all I know about that night.
I see.
Yeah. That look you're making now. You had that same look on your face that night. You still looking for something? Listen, good sir. For a price, I might be able to tell you some other tidbits you might find useful. For a price, of course. I'm a merchant now, you know, so...
Yeah, so what he said about the Hirata estate and the fact that all the samurai were away and all the fact that they snuck in, that's actually really important to bear in mind. So I know we haven't seen the Hirata estate the way I'm playing through this, but bear that in mind. It's going to be an important tidbit, lore-wise, actually.
I'll buy some information.
Thank you very much for your patronage. Since you're a shinobi, I'll give you some information about shinobi tools.
If you could.
Now, I've seen this tube. A tube with fire blasting out of it. Huh? When we broke into the Hirata estate, one of my pals nabbed one. That's the sound the fire makes when it blasts out.
Alright, so this is actually important that he gives you this here, because there's an enemy that's coming up who's specifically weak to the flame barrel right past this. So I think that's why they gave you this hint here. And again, something that you can do that I haven't done yet, but you can go ahead and do. And I honestly didn't find the flame barrel until way afterwards, when way after, well, I should say after I visited the Hirata estate, which you can do at this point. Until I saw this guy's note. I completely missed it. A tarot note written by Anayama seems to be from some years ago. Lucrative info number 36. When we broke into Hirata estate, we found a barrel that spewed flame. The boys lit a roaring bonfire with it and made merry with the drink. Must have been a shinobi's tool.
A fire-shooting tube at the Hirata estate. I'll keep that in mind.
I'll procure some goods with the coin you gave me. Look forward to it, good sir.
Yeah, so if you rest the bonfire, I mean Sculptor's Idol, then that's when he'll have the goods. All you have to do is rest, and that usually fast forwards things.
This man was from Hirata. I must pay my respects.
Lord Kuro.
Lady Emma, are there other Hirata survivors?
There are very few of us left.
I see. Apologies. There's no end to those who seek the dragon's heritage. This was their fate. Because of those that pursued me. I didn't mean to involve them.
So we can see from this that Emma, who mentioned Lord Kuro before, they're clearly have a pretty strong link and know each other very well. And beyond that, I think it's a chicken who's seeing me. The Dragon's Blood and Dragon's Heritage, I think I'll talk a little bit more about in the next episode, as that is super important. So is the whole immortality thing with that guy that we found who could heal himself. But as it's pretty past an hour at this point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and say that I'll see you guys next time. So let's go ahead and grab the Sculptor's Idol for Outskirts Walls Stairway. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys next time. I do a pose, but I can't, so I'm going to spin around. Yeah, that's how we leave. Later, guys. Peace.